Today I fucked up by accidentally severely bottlenecking my PC for over 3 years. Too long didn't read. At bottom, I waffled. I built my first ever PC around 3.5 years ago. It's pretty budget, but I thought for the £500 I was spending on parts, it would be pretty decent. So I follow a couple of YouTube tutorials to build it and everything worked fine first try, to my absolute surprise. Over the course of the 3 years, I've never had one problem with it other than it was pretty slow and could only run games on low or medium at best, depending on the age of the game. It would take quite a long time to boot, and usually I'd have to let it warm up for a minute or so till I could open browsers or do stuff without apps crashing. Was not ideal to say the least. Cut to 2 weeks ago, a friend was telling me about the new RAM he just got, which got me thinking about my little old PC and how it's 3 years old, and how it could maybe use a few cheap upgrades. The first thing I look at when I open up my PC is the 8GB stick of RAM. Some of you may see where this is going, cause I only have 2 RAM slots, and he looked so lonely, so thought I'd look into a second stick to keep him company. After a bit of RAM research, I started seeing the words dual channel a lot, so delved a bit deeper. I read more and more about how people in similar situations to mine should have originally went with 2x4GB instead of 1x8GB if your motherboard supports dual channel cause it's magic. I'm reciting stuff I have no idea about, I could be wrong here, and that you should try and use the same manufacturer/frequency if you're going to get multiple sticks. I found the same model of RAM on eBay for less than £30 a week or so ago, so I ordered it. It arrived today. I plugged it in and immediately thought I'd try and load up something that used to crash my PC hard, a large map on Rust. The large map, which previously suplexed my PC, loaded in faster than a small map used to with 1 stick of RAM, and was running at a solid 60 FPS while running around chopping stuff. No crashes, no screen tearing, just a working game. So, I re-downloaded WoW, which I haven't played for a year or so, but I could only run it on medium graphics with sunshafts/shadows off if I wanted anywhere close to 60 FPS. I logged on and fiddled around with the settings and turns out my PC is capable of running the game on high, with sunshafts/shadows on high, at an unmoving 60 FPS. All it took was another stick of RAM to make my PC not a piece of shit. I'm in disbelief at how my PC is now like twice as good, and at how it now feels like I've been using half a PC for 3 years. I'm such an idiot. Too long didn't read, seemingly badly bottlenecked my PC by only using 1 stick of RAM instead of 2. It went from really shit to really not shit 3.5 years too late. I am idiot. Not as bad as the guy who bought an expensive GPU, thought it was crap for years, replaced it, noticed no performance gain, then finally found out he had plugged the monitor into the onboard GPU output and had never used his actual GPU or the new one since buying them. It was on Reddit somewhere with the full story, so yeah. Mistakes were made, don't feel bad. Dual channel versus single channel actually isn't that big of a difference. You probably were running into an issue with RAM usage overall, not enough RAM so Windows has to use a page file and things slow down. Having 16GB of RAM probably solved most of your problems. Not an idiot, you just didn't know, but now you do and have learned a valuable lesson. Awesome. We all do shit like this, no matter how many builds you do you'll still make mistakes. Check out on r/pkmas terrace how often people do stuff like not remove plastic seals on heat sinks. Glad you got it sorted buddy. Today I fucked up by attending my sister's wedding. Obligatory throwaway account, and this happened last weekend, but I'm only discovering the total impact today. My sister's wedding was last weekend, during a hurricane/tropical storm thing. I haven't lived in my hometown for several years, so hurricane/tropical storm survival skills are a little rusty. My best friend drove, as I had flown in for the event and didn't rent a car. As we are about to leave, I remember that my lipstick is in the house, and in case they want to do pictures at the reception or after the ceremony, I need to be prepared. I run back in the house, grab my lipstick, run back down the driveway, and open the door to my friend's car. In the 3 seconds that I stopped to open the door, my legs suddenly felt like they were on fire. So when the door opens, I'm screaming I'm on fire. And my best friend looks totally befuddled as there is no evidence of anything burning. 3 seconds later, I realize I have been swarmed by fire ants. Fire ants. In my shoes. In my clothes. In my hair. In the car. Hundreds of them. My best friend and I are frantically trying to get these ants off of me and out of the car. I run back in the house, and rinse my feet off in the bathtub. My feet are starting to swell. Throw on a pair of slip-on casual shoes because my now swelling feet won't fit in the shoes I brought to wear to the wedding. Get to the wedding, 10 minutes late, with whelps erupting all over my feet, legs and fingers. Found an ant crawling on my arm in the church. Now, you know how when you've been itching all over you start to itch in places that shouldn't be itching? Like a phantom itch. Okay, so, I had an itch in my crotch during the wedding and reception. Yeast infection? No, probably just a phantom itch because my entire body is itching from the 45 or so bites. Or so I thought. A couple days later, I return home and me and the hubs have sexy time. He says, "You okay?" Things felt kind of hard. I made some joke about getting old. Well, during my shower, I also realize things are hard. I intrepidly take a very graphic selfie to investigate fire ant bites on my inner labia. There is no WebMD entry for how to treat fire ant bites on genitalia. Too long didn't read. Went to sister's wedding, came home a fire crotch. Fire ants swarmed during heavy rain, kiddos. Edit, RIP my inbox. Some items to clarify. 1. Bites are healing. Even those bites. 2. Regarding attending a wedding in a pandemic, all of the venues limited the number of guests to under 50, even outdoors. The church holds 1,100 people, so all of us basically had a pew to ourselves during the ceremony. The reception venue holds 200, only 40 or so people attended. Half of the attendees stayed in one section of the venue watching football on a big screen TV. Again, limited contact. And masks and sanitizer were available throughout the venues for people that didn't bring their own. 3. Yeah, I know, weddings are the new super spreader events and the decision to attend was not made lightly. I did spend all day Saturday before the wedding with my dad, helping him get ready, watching football, and going through his old high school yearbooks reminiscing about his friends and his memories. His wish was to have all of us together for a happy event one last time, COVID be damned. He gets tested approximately once a month as well. So far, he's still negative. 4. Fire ants form ant rafts in water as they try to escape their flooded mounds during heavy rain. Car was in the driveway. Ants had aggregated in a puddle next to the car, and that is what I stepped in. 5. Yes, I know whelps are puppies. However, my very southern dad has called whelps my whole life, force of habit. I'm keeping it. Well, the upshot is you've earned one hell of a nickname, Firecrotch. ETA, ladies and germs, thank you for making this my top comment. Thank you for the awards. I never dreamed I could soar to such karmic heights on a cheap joke with a punchline I stole directly from Up. Wait. So how did said ants get to be all over you? She got ants in her pants. I got swarmed by them once when I was a kid. I'd sat down on a big rock in the yard and all of a sudden started shrieking at the top of my lungs in pain. My mother picked me up and threw me into the tub to hose me down. 32 years later and I'm still afraid to sit on the ground without doing a hefty inspection beforehand. I am told that when I was about 3 and we lived in MS I was left alone in the backyard. And apparently to a 3-year-old a fire ant mound looks like a sandbox. Similar story from there. I don't actually remember the event, but I have always had a strong dislike of ants. Most critters I'm alive and let live kind of guy, but ants, go straight to hell, do not pass go. How did sexy time not hurt you? That sounds painful. Did. But, again, getting older, things aren't always as pliable, even with lots of lube sometimes. And I just chalked it up to that. I usually use a bidet and use a handheld in the shower instead of a washcloth to clean my bits. Today, though, I happened to use a washcloth and discovered the hardness my hubs mentioned. Today I fucked up when I didn't beat my wife after she won a football video game against me. /obligatory. This happened 6 years ago. Post notice. Too long didn't read. Wife pulls off an unbelievable video game upset on me. I yell at her and a tickle fight ensues. Cops come and I have to convince them tickle fight equals real fight. It's a random Tuesday evening, and the wife and I have dinner plans to meet up with friends with some time to kill before we have to leave. So we decide to play a game of Madden on PlayStation in our little 1BR apartment with neighbors on both sides and below us. I'm winning towards the end of the game, but she gets a touchdown to put the game within 2. She does an onside kick and recovers it with literally 2 seconds left at the end of the play. I'm starting to sweat that she somehow pulls off some miraculous Hail Mary and wins. She ends up selecting a field goal and I'm feeling relieved. The wind is against her and it's a 60+ yard field goal. For non-football people, the record is 64 yards. She nails it perfectly and wins. I jump off the couch and yell, "Are you kidding me? Are you joking? This is bullsh_t. I'm going to f_king kill you." She's cracking up laughing and I start tickling her. She runs into the bedroom and I yell something like, "You can't hide from me. I'm going to get you." I tickle her maybe 1 to 2 minutes more on our bed as she's cracking up/crying/yelling stop. But totally okay and within our normal boundaries of fun. We stop and she tells me she needs to get ready and starts heading into the bathroom to put on makeup. By this point, maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, I've changed clothes, and am watching some TV when I hear a very loud, confident series of knocks on the door. I open up, and surprise, it's 2 police officers, 1 man and 1 woman. Male cop: "Good evening. Do you know why we are here?" Me: "I think so, and you're never going to believe me, but I can explain." Female cop: "Is there a woman in this apartment? May I speak with her?" Me: "Yes, I am sure my wife will be willing to speak with you. She's in the restroom around the corner getting ready for dinner." Male cop: "What do you think we are here for?" Me: "I think one of my neighbors probably heard me yell at my wife and chase her into the next room as she screamed." In reality, it was a tickle fight after she beat me in a video game. Male cop: "A tickle fight? And what did you yell at her?" Me: "I said I was going to kill her, but it was really a joke. I promise, really, all I did after that was tickle her for a minute or 2. Male cop: "Where did you plan on going to dinner?" Feeling trashy saying this as someone who is suspected of spousal abuse. Me: "Hooters. We are meeting friends at Hooters for wing night." Male cop: "May I take a look around?" Me: "Yes." He searches around, finds a broken vase in our recycle bin and asks about it. About 3 to 4 minutes later, in what felt like an eternity, the female cop comes out and says, "What did you hear?" Male cop: "Tickle fight." Female cop: "Tickle fight." She belts out 1 or 2 chuckles. Me: weight of the world off my shoulders. Male cop: "All right, well, thanks for letting us come in and investigate. You know it's just our jobs and we have to take this kind of thing seriously." Me: "Yes, I totally understand and am not mad, just have to repair a relationship with our neighbors who think I beat my wife now." After they left, my wife told me the cop she spoke with was begging her to admit it, that I was hurting her and she was covering her bruises with makeup. More like, "Hey, you're safe now, we got him, you can tell me the truth." I get why they do this, but thank God my wife was insistent and confident in her speech that I was not in fact beating her. We hadn't met our downstairs neighbors yet at that point, just a friendly wave out the door on the way to work each morning, but met them a few weeks later at a pool party the complex had. After some small talk, I just broke the ice and said, "Hey, just so you know, I think you guys must have called the police on me a few weeks back. I appreciate you called the police. I can understand how from your apartment, you just heard me yell 'I'm going to kill you,' followed by 2 people running followed by screaming. Just so you know, it was a tickle fight and nothing else." I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Ultimately, you guys did the right thing. I got the feeling they were a little skittish, but overall grateful that I told them that. We remained on friendly terms but lost touch after we moved out of that complex. Too long didn't read. Wife pulls off an unbelievable video game upset on me. I yell at her and a tickle fight ensues. Cops come and I have to convince them tickle fight equals real fight. Edits. 1. I am off to bed now but will try responding more tomorrow. 2. Yes, I know the title of the story raises eyebrows and makes people interested to read more. That's the point of a good title in my opinion, and I've seen this technique used many times on this subreddit. 3. Thanks for all the love. Before this, I think I had gotten 2 awards ever. 4. I am pretty thrilled with Reddit right now. Definitely thought there would be a lot more trolls than there were. 5. Thanks for all the advice on dealing with police. In my opinion, there are times where I think it's time to be a little bit more argumentative with them, and times when it's probably in everyone's best interest to cooperate and diffuse the situation. I think I smartly chose the latter in this case. This occurred in a major urban area in the US, and I think it demonstrates that cops, as a whole, are generally pretty professional and genuinely just interested in making their communities safer. Without wading into politics, yes, I recognize that police reform is required in the US and support many of those efforts too.